In this video, we're talking about the pros and cons of starting an Airbnb cleaning company, so stay tuned. Vacation Rental Machine helps hosts just like you learn how to start, grow, and scale your short-term rental business. This show is all about creating systems that help you automate your business, giving you more time and money freedom. If you're ready to start living the vacation rental life, then subscribe to this podcast today. Come and join us on our Facebook group, The Host Nation, where we'll be talking about starting, automating, and scaling a short-term rental business. Now, on to the show. Hey, welcome back, Host Nation, to another episode of Vacation Rental Machine. I'm Julian Sage with John Bell. And in this episode, we're talking about the pros and cons of starting an Airbnb cleaning company. If you're in this business, you know you're going to be doing a lot of cleaning. You're going to be maybe hiring contractors to come and clean your properties, or maybe decide to bring it in-house. There are some pros and cons with that. Maybe you actually want to be able to start helping other people clean their properties because you already have a system, you know how it works. Obviously, cleaners are in high demand, especially during these times. So we're going to be talking about some of the pros and cons with that business model. So John, have you ever thought about starting a cleaning company, being able to have your cleaners go and take care of other properties? What are some of the things that you've personally thought about when it comes to cleaning?
Yeah, so it's one of those things you do start to think about. And I think that everybody should consider it when they start kind of manipulating some of the numbers. What I mean is looking for those efficiencies within the business, things that you could pay a little less for, but possibly increase a little bit of gain. But at that point, you should have enough scale to support somebody making a decent salary just with your units. And when you're thinking about doing that, I mean, that is when you really kind of want to just, hey, I want to tweak this thing just a little bit. I want to bring in my people in house. I maybe want to increase our processes and try to clean a little bit better. So I want to hire my own people who follow our own standards. But at the same time, one of the cons to that is now you're on the hook for all your cleaning supplies. Where if you're working with the contractor, they normally bring everything that they have. And if you're doing it unit by unit, that might cause a problem. I've talked to somebody recently who has multiple units, and at each unit, they have supplies for the cleaners to clean. Well, the cleaners arrived one day and the vacuum broke. Well, I guess the place didn't get vacuumed that day before the next guest that came in because there is nobody available quick enough to resolve the issue. Little things like that possibly can happen if you have your own in-house cleaners where you're providing all the equipment. When your contractor does it, typically it's up to them to get it resolved, right? They have to clean, they have to be the professionals in cleaning. There really shouldn't be any mistakes that they kind of do that just aren't as simple as they can't vacuum a place.
Right. So like you just mentioned, I mean, you're responsible for a place if it doesn't get taken care of, because if you don't have enough cleaner, if your vacuum breaks, if something happens, typically what you would do is you'd rely on the contractors, and the contractors would go, they'd probably go back to wherever they work because they take care of multiple properties most likely, and they would probably get a replacement vacuum. Now you might need a whole nother vacuum, or you might need a spare. You might need to have your person that's supposed to be cleaning multiple properties go and purchase a vacuum, all of these things. So how do you handle that as you're starting to scale your business? Is that something that people should take on when they're just starting to think about like all these backup in case scenarios, or is really maybe just better to start hiring someone and not even really think about, trying to build a business around cleaning short-term rentals?
I definitely don't think it should be somebody's first step. You shouldn't be learning how to be a host and learning how to run a cleaning business. If you have a cleaning business, then of course you can definitely do the cleanings yourself. But if you are unfamiliar with both industries, I would not suggest jumping into both right in the beginning. It is something you'll probably want to come back around to, but just for starting out under probably 10 units, it's probably not even worth the thought because you're either going to have very high turnover because you're not going to be able to support somebody's living wage, or the expenses of just having all the equipment and maintaining the chemicals and all those things, just create another supply list. This almost just needs to be another separate entity. Now, of course, you might be thinking, hey, I can sub myself out to other hosts. That possibly is a way that you can do this starting out, but I still would not suggest you doing it as a start to start. You shouldn't start being a host at the same time start a cleaning company to clean your units and somebody else's. To me, cleaning could be a brand definition. So I would hold that close. If you got a great cleaner, then that great cleaner should be exclusively yours. Why would you want to share it? You want people to not necessarily get as high of a rating as you when it comes to cleaning. That way, people can see and say, hey, I want to book with you because you have a higher cleaning standard than everybody else. Sharing that only makes it a little more competitive. Of course, you can't tell your cleaner, hey, don't do a good job. I mean, you don't want to do that. But again, I think this is only a thought that you would think of when you're trying to tweak things, when you're trying to squeeze out an extra, $40 a stay or something like that, when you have plenty of units and that $40 is going to like equate to thousands of dollars at the end of the month. That's when it's really important.
Right. So we're not telling you to start a cleaning company and then start going and sabotaging other people's properties by putting little discrepancies. I know what you were thinking, John, but that's not something that we will be doing. But it is such an important part of the business. Cleaners, they are hard to come by. You can go through multiple. So when you do find that one cleaner, it is kind of hard to say like, hey, try to give them more work that could potentially take away from your business. Do you see that there could be a lot of profit there, though, John, worth the effort? So, let's say you are paying a cleaner. Do you think that there's enough value there to have them go and take care of other properties when things slow down, be able to make a little bit of money off of, you charging the cleaning fee or maybe a little bit more of a premium, and then being able to pay your cleaner for that time if they are going to be someone in-house?
One of the things to consider is definitely that this person is not a contractor, which means they are a W-2 employee, and there are some standards and things that you need to either supply this person or you need to watch their hours so they're not full time, just so they don't have to get all these extra benefits. So thinking of it full scope, you have to consider this. I mean, you got taxes for employees that you have to pay. You have to pay possibly for some type of benefit, whether that means, hey, they get paid time off. You need to be able to handle time off. I mean, if you only got a few girls or a few guys working for you and they're cleaning and two of them get sick, can you still handle the cleanings for the day? That's stuff that you have to worry about. I prefer not to necessarily worry about that unless it really makes it very worth it. And the dollars that I save is that much more worth it than the headache that it will cause. Because again, they are people that you will be managing. Of course, these are consistent people, not the people that are coming to stay for a few days and they roll out. These are people that work for you. And sometimes they could be great. Sometimes they could be pretty bad.
I think it's important what you just brought up, John, in that there's a lot of other processes that come in, things that you have to consider, things like health benefits, things like, if someone gets injured, paid time off, vacation, overtime, those benefits that you did say, as well as those standards, cleaning products, backups, standard operating procedures, all of these different things that maybe you don't really think about, when you are just hiring out a contractor to come and take care of your property, because that's what a contractor is. They are working for another company who handles all of that, and they're assuming, they're taking their time to, try to generate some money, some revenue by implementing all of those processes, thinking about all those things, and then you pay the premium, paying that company so that you don't have to really necessarily think about those things. Those are things that you have to consider. I know maybe a lot of people, when they listen to this show, maybe they start from episode 1 and they go to, episode, whichever number we are currently on. They might feel overwhelmed because there's so many different things that you need to do. If you're just starting off this business, then definitely, like John said in the beginning, you don't want to be starting a cleaning company and starting a short-term rental business and getting your real estate license and flipping houses and trying to do all of these things all at once, because it's going to be overwhelming. You're going to bite off more than you can chew, and then it's going to affect your performance, and then you're not going to be able to make as much money, and then you're going to end up eventually quitting just because it's way too much. So just starting off as simple as possible, take it baby steps at a time, maybe at a certain point at your scale, when you don't have to think about so many other aspects of your business. Maybe you can start to look at, should I hire this person? Should I, bring cleaners in-house? Should I start, subcontracting them out to other properties? Because that might be one of your methods for growing and being connected to the community. Really powerful strategy right there, but you don't necessarily want to start thinking about outsourcing your cleaner and starting a cleaning company if you haven't even gotten your first property or your second or your fifth. You want to be a little bit more scale. Take things off of your plate before you start adding them on. Otherwise, you're going to become overwhelmed. So question of the day, do you have a cleaning company? Are you looking to get into the short-term rental business or vice versa? We'd love to be able to know in the comment section down below. And until next time, Host Nation, keep on hosting.
Hey, Host Nation, would you like to work directly with Julian and I to help you start and scale your own short-term rental business? Go to shorttermsage.com/coaching to attend our step-by-step training and learn how we can work together. Looking forward to talking to you soon.
Hope you hosts found value in this episode. If you did, please go on over to iTunes and leave us a review, as that would greatly support the show. If you'd like to connect with John, the community, and I, then go on over to our Facebook group, The Host Nation. Talk to you hosts in the next episode. Keep on hosting.